The Pixel 10 series is packed with AI talk, but one feature really stands out: Camera Coach. Unlike the usual flashy demos that feel more like experiments than tools, this one looks practical and actually useful. Most AI features in smartphones tend to overpromise. They're often presented as magical problem solvers, but in reality, the problems being solved aren't that serious. Sometimes the features ship half-baked, and other times they just don't land. Camera Coach feels different because it's simple, direct, and designed to improve a skill many people struggle with: taking better photos. Here's how it works. The AI analyzes the scene being captured. Then it asks a simple but smart question: what's the goal of the shot? Is it a portrait, a group photo, or just the overall atmosphere of a place? Based on that, it suggests adjustments. Maybe the camera needs to go a bit lower, closer, farther back, or angled differently. But the most important part is this: it explains why. For example, lower the camera to eye level for a more personal feel, or place the subject higher in the frame to follow the rule of thirds. These short, clear tips don't just fix a picture in the moment, they also introduce the basics of photography in a way that's easy to remember. And that's something most people need. Think about how many times a simple photo gets ruined because the subject is cut off, the light is blasting straight into the lens, or there's too much empty space above a person's head. Even basic tricks like tapping to focus aren't known by everyone. Camera Coach addresses that by turning those small but important principles into quick lessons without overwhelming anyone with pro-level jargon. The beauty of this approach is that it doesn't take away creativity. The final choice is always with the person taking the photo, but the AI gives just enough guidance to make the results noticeably better. Over time, it builds awareness of why certain photos look better than others. Compared to existing tools like Samsung Shot Suggestions, this is a big step forward. Shot Suggestions simply shows a dot on the screen and asks the user to center the subject there. No reasoning with mixed results. Google's approach is smarter. Instead of dictating, it educates. Of course, Camera Coach isn't the only AI update in the Pixel 10 series. Live Translate also received a serious upgrade. It's now faster, more natural, and even reproduces translations in the user's own voice. That can sound a little uncanny, but it also makes conversations smoother across languages. Still, Camera Coach feels like the highlight because it focuses on solving a real problem. Most AI features on phones are marketed as one-tap solutions that supposedly do everything automatically, but that often leads to errors, weird hallucinations, or just unnecessary shortcuts. Take Magic Queue, for example. It scans emails and suggests responses by pulling details from calendars or tickets. Impressive in theory, but in practice, type in 8030 PM isn't exactly a challenge that needs solving. This is where AI actually works best, not as a replacement, but as a helper. It can't teach advanced camera skills like shutter speed or aperture, but it can cover the basics and give users a stronger foundation. Camera Coach fits perfectly into that role, and if used regularly, it could take someone from beginner to competent amateur in a very natural way. And there's another area where Google got it right with the Pixel 10 lineup: accessories. For years, iPhone users enjoyed MagSafe while Android users had no real equivalent. That changes with Pixel Snap. Built on the Qi 2 standard, it introduces magnets inside the Pixel 10 devices, so MagSafe and Qi 2 accessories attach seamlessly. No need for clunky third-party cases. Whether it's a wallet, stand, or charger, everything snaps right into place. This combination of Pixel Snap for Camera Coach for photography actually gives the Pixel 10 series some personality. Instead of gimmicks, these features feel like they belong on a phone that's meant to be used every day. Of course, Camera Coach still needs real-world testing to see how reliable it is. Will the tips always be useful? Will the guidance adapt to different environments and styles? Those are questions only daily use will answer. But the concept already feels stronger than many of the so-called AI innovations seen over the past couple of years. AI in smartphones doesn't need to do everything. It doesn't need to replace the user. What it should do is give meaningful nudges that make everyday tasks better. Camera Coach is a good example of that philosophy. It won't turn anyone into a professional photographer overnight, but it can definitely help avoid awkward shots, improve composition, and build a little confidence behind the lens. With Pixel 10, Google may finally be proving that AI on phones isn't just a buzzword. Sometimes it really can make sense.